I walked into my first month saying, I'm going to leave this month with $100,000. And I meant that. No college degree, no wealthy parents, no real estate connections. I was 19 and I started by renting and then showing people, here's exactly how I did it. Hi guys, today I'm going to be answering some questions in a kind of podcast style format where I talk about entrepreneurship, digital products, short-term rentals. Hopefully you can walk away with something valuable. So yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's dive right into the questions.
What was the exact moment you knew traditional college wasn't for you? And how scary was it to text your advisor about dropping out?
Honestly, there was a lot of things that went into my decision for not continuing college. I know that growing up, I worked so hard for my academic success. And it was hard also because throughout high school, I changed schools a lot. And so all the work that I had done when I moved sophomore year, the school system was completely different. And so everything didn't transfer over and still I made it work. And then I moved again junior year and things didn't transfer over the same again and again. When I actually picked my major, I went ahead with marketing. That decision came from knowing that I wanted to do business. Marketing was one of the most important aspects of business. And at first I was going to go in for business admin. And my brother Jamil, he was like, I think you should go in for marketing. For any business to succeed, you're going to need marketing. And so for me, I was like, okay, so I'm going to go for marketing, but I was going to a predominantly white institute and I graduated the same year that COVID hit hard. So literally we left for spring break. We never came back. I didn't get a graduation. I didn't get a prom. I literally had to go pick up my diploma at the front of the school in like a orange manila envelope. So once I started college, it just didn't feel like what I expected it to be. I also was doing so much busy work. The classes that I am required to take just to take a pottery class or just to take a painting class to me were kind of ridiculous. Maybe I don't need to take 4 years to learn it. Maybe if I spend some time reading books or watching YouTube videos or learning from other entrepreneurs who had done it in the past, maybe then I would be able to build these skills, how to be an entrepreneur, how to run a business, how to learn marketing all on my own without going the traditional route of schooling. And I thought about it a little. I talked to Jamil, I talked to Bryson. I didn't tell too many people just because, too many opinions sometimes can get annoying. But when I finally decided, I remember I called my mom and I was nervous to tell her just because she was so proud of me and my academic success. And I just told her, I don't think that I'm going to continue with college right now. And if I change my mind, I can always go back. But it was scary because I was leaving a full scholarship. Texting my advisor, it was scary as well, but I also felt very free. It was a weight lifted off my shoulders just because I was spending so much time working and going to school and doing all that. In the end, when I left school, it freed up so much time to build skill sets around what I actually wanted to. One of my classes was so random. I was going through a graveyard and noting the different types of graves. I don't need that skill in my life. And so it gave me more time to focus on what I wanted. And I was scared, but it's do I want to spend 4 years going the traditional route of university just because that's what's taught? Or do I want to take my own path and go at my own pace and choose how long it's going to take me to learn the skills that I need? And crazy enough, I left college at 18. Me and Bryson started Airbnb at 19. I started coaching at 20. Today I'm 23 years old. I built a $1 million Airbnb business or a $1 million short-term rental business. And on top of that, I built a multi-million-dollar coaching company. So I'm learning a lot through business. Some of it's trial and error. Some of it's by learning from others, but I'm learning one way or another. So yeah.
Before your digital product success, you tried trading, drop shipping, and cosmetology. What did each of those failures teach you?
I tried a lot of things, guys. Before drop shipping and before short-term rentals, I tried cosmetology first. That was in high school. I think that taught me that you really can make money just by building a clientele. And to do that, you do have to market yourself. You have to, market your services. When I would go out and people would be like, oh, I love your nails, I'd have to say, oh, I did them myself and hand them my business card. Even though I was nervous and shy, I had to put myself out there at school and tell people yeah, I do nails. If you want me to do yours, here's my Instagram. Also, I had to build social media pages around it. So that was the first time that I ever was marketing something on social media was for my nails. I started learning how to do lashes and brows as well. Drop shipping is I actually tried trading second, but then I did drop shipping and trading at the same time. But I started trading. Trading was hard just because there's so much emotional discipline needed with trading. I think for me, it taught me that you can be good at something, but if you can't manage your emotions and you can't have good risk to reward, then you can lose a lot. And so I did make a lot of money from trading. And there were times where I made more trading in the morning before I did going to work a full-time job. But there were also days where I lost thousands, and those were pretty rough days. And so I knew I needed needed more time in that skill to get better at it before I would see consistent profits. So that's why I didn't choose to continue that when I put all my focus on Airbnb. And then for dropshipping, I learned how to run ads, how to build a Shopify store. With dropshipping, I learned how to look for products and audience and markets and like what are people buying right now or what do I think will do well. But same thing with dropshipping. I didn't stick with it long enough to see like long-term profits. But even my first couple businesses, they made some profit. They were like a little above break even, just nothing too crazy. So I learned a lot from those businesses. I also learned consistency. I learned resilience. I learned discipline. I learned that even on the days I don't feel like it, I have to show up. Entrepreneurship is so romanticized, but at the end of the day, it's you versus you. It's you telling yourself, I have to show up today. It's you telling yourself, I have to get up. I have to do the work. There are days where I'm exhausted and I don't want to do it. And I'm just like, if I don't do it today, I'm not going to want to do it tomorrow. Nothing's going to change. I just have to do it. And so I also learned those skills from trying those things. And I learned those early on also just through work and everything else I've done. But obviously they're great reminders as you try new things and you realize success doesn't happen as quickly as you think it might. Things don't always work out the way that you think they are as quickly as you think they will, but that's okay just because most things that are worth it, they take time and nothing is as smooth as it looks. It doesn't matter what you say on social media. It doesn't matter what stories you hear. Everyone who's seen success with something definitely had ups and downs and great times and hardships. It's just what comes with it, with life, with business, with relationships. It's a part of it. And so I learned that from all those businesses as well. And I think it helped me build those skill sets. And I was able to walk into these businesses knowing those and feeling prepared that it's not going to go perfectly smooth. And it hasn't, trust me. But we're still here and we're doing amazing. So I'm super grateful.
How did growing up in a large family on food stamps shape your relationship with money and your drive to succeed?
I actually think growing up in such a big family was good for me. I think that number one, I was surrounded by so much love and support that I had built-in best friends no matter what I did. Some of my siblings might not have agreed, but I definitely had so much family that someone's going to, understand and support me through that. But also I think growing up in such a big family taught me that you don't get things handed to you. And just because I want something doesn't mean that I'm just going to get it, And so living the way that I did, growing up with so much love and support, but not having a ton of money, I realized that if there's something I want, I have to go and get it. It wasn't always easy, especially being young, but I think skill that I brought with me throughout the rest of my life has literally brought me to where I am today. I learned that if I wanted something, I had to go and get it, whatever that meant. And so, if it was doing things for my mom for an allowance, helping her out, she was a mom with so many children, she couldn't do everything on her own. And so I've mentioned it before, I worked in my parents' dog kennel, I cleaned the bathrooms. When I was younger, I set up a lemonade stand outside my dad's barbershop. We sold lemonade and gum and tried to make money in any way that we could. My first phone that I ever had, I bought it myself. And the service, my mom's like, you don't need a phone. I didn't need a phone, but I wanted one. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to buy my own phone and I'm going to pay for the service. And so I bought my phone, I bought my iPad, like all the things that I wanted that maybe some other kids might have got for whatever, If we couldn't afford it, that's okay, because I really didn't need those things. They were things that I wanted. And I learned if I want something, I have to work for it. Still today that applies. If I want something, no one's going to save me. No one's going to give it to me. It doesn't get handed to me. Same thing applies to you in your life. If you want something, I truly believe you are the only one, not guarantee that you get it, but like the work that you put in has a direct correlation to what you get out. And so if you want something, put in the work to get it. And I think your chances of getting it are way higher. I think it's helped me a lot. And I think it's made me who I am today. So
what was your family's reaction when you first started making serious money from digital products? Did they believe it was sustainable?
I actually didn't tell really anyone when I first started making money from digital products. I think our first week that we ever had a free class, we might have made anywhere between like $10,000 and $20,000, which is insane. Walking away from one free class, a 2-hour class, and making $10,000 to $20,000, crazy. But still, to me, that was just the beginning. I walked into my first month saying, I'm going to leave this month with $100,000. And I meant that. And it was hard to believe. I talk about this in my other videos as well. Sometimes you say these things, you want to have confidence, you put out these affirmations, but in the back of your mind, you're like, can I actually do it? Which I have felt plenty of times. Trust me, you're not alone if you've ever felt that way. But I did walk into it thinking this is just the beginning. We were working with someone who actually helped us build out our entire webinar business model and our free class and creating that method to then sell our core product. And he told us about his unicorns, the people that made this much money. And I don't know, in my head, I was like, I think we can do that. And so I walked into it already feeling like I was going to be a unicorn. And alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful that we truly have been. We've made a lot of money at such a young age, but when I first was nearing the end of the month, and it was like $98,000, and I was like, we just made almost $100,000 in a month from holding a free class, and at the end of our free class, offering our core product. In our very first month ever coaching, we made almost $100,000, or we actually made over $100,000, but we were just a couple of days away from the end of the month, and I remember feeling like, wow, I just made someone's yearly salary in a month. And so I didn't really tell anyone. And then I remember when the month finished and we made $100,000, I told my two brothers who I knew that it would motivate, and I knew they wouldn't feel any type of way about it. They wouldn't feel jealous. They wouldn't, have any envy. They would literally be like, wow, like that's insane. It would change their perspective. So I told them, and then I told my mom, and I knew my mom, it was going to be a new concept for her. Again, it was a new concept for her, but she was still so supportive. Like she was like, wow, this is crazy. To be honest, I don't know if they thought it was sustainable or not. I think a lot of my family, even if they have doubts, they try to keep it to themselves just because it is new for all of us to be building this wealth and to be creating income in this way. We've never seen this growing up. And so I think some of them do have doubts. I've heard little things, but I know that it's normal. It's not them doubting me. It's them having limiting beliefs based on the environment that we grew up in, what we saw our whole lives. And so it is scary to put your belief in something. And now my whole family works with me. And so every day it's like we're all instilling belief in each other. Like we want to get here. We're all doing these things to get there. It's natural for people to have doubt. I'm grateful that they do try to keep it away from me, just because I don't need to hear that. But I think a lot of them truly do believe in the company. They believe in me. They believe in the mission. And that's huge. I couldn't ask for, a better family. So
you mentioned feeling like an outsider growing up. How did it actually become a business advantage in the online space?
I really was an outsider growing up. And I say it, and I know people are like, oh, you've said this before. And I don't know if any of you guys know about St. Louis or what St. Louis is like, but I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. There is actually a pretty decent sized Muslim community in St. Louis, but in a completely different area than I lived in. Where I went to school, I was literally the only Muslim in my school, the only person that covered. And that was hard for me. I felt different. And I know that just walking into a room, I looked different from everyone. And I was shy. I don't want to be the center of attention. I don't want everyone looking at me. And immediately you walk in a room and you are different because you look different. And on top of that, I'm biracial. I'm Black. I'm Hispanic. And so in St. Louis, people would pick on me like, oh, you're too proper. You're not Black. And it's like, okay, I don't know what to tell you. Or I'm Hispanic, but I don't speak Spanish. And so it was really hard for me. But I will say that it also helped me gain identity because I was constantly reiterating to people who I was, why I wore a hijab. And I think I was able to show people Muslims aren't necessarily just what you see online, or Muslims don't just come from one ethnicity or from one part of the world. The West definitely paints Muslims out to be a certain way. And the fact that I was able to come into a school that had never really seen Muslims, I went to Rittner. The Rittner School District is where I pretty much grew up my whole life. I was able to show people this is what it's like to be a Muslim. You can be American and be Muslim. You can be Black and be Muslim. You can be Hispanic and be Muslim. And it was beautiful to be able to show people that. And for me, it was hard looking different and feeling different. But the fact that I would constantly have to explain to people why I wore hijab out of modesty, right? It almost reinstilled that belief in me over and over and over again and made me feel more confident in who I was, even though I was also not confident because everyone would look at me. It was really hard playing sports, things like that. But I think now, walking into being on social media and being vulnerable, talking about my life and sharing my expertise as a business owner now, I will say looking different does have its advantages. People aren't expecting me to sit on screen and sound the way I do, talk about what I talk about, have the skills that I have. They don't really expect it because in my industry, in this niche, there's not many people that look like me. And so I think when I sit down and I speak and I tell people what I, have to say and what I know, I think they are surprised and it makes people listen and take a step back like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that from her. Yeah, I think now, it is a plus. I think it's always been a plus, but when you're young, it's hard to see it. And now I think when I speak, people listen to me. Whatever reason they listen to me, maybe it's because they don't believe in me or because they're shocked or maybe they are inspired or whatever the reason is. It allows my voice to be heard and it allows me to give representation to people who aren't always represented. And so I'm super grateful. Yeah.
What was the exact moment you realized you could turn your knowledge into a profitable digital product?
The exact moment that I realized I could turn my knowledge into a digital product was through Bryson, actually. When we were first seeing success with Airbnb, he had the whole thing down, he already started learning about digital products. He truly realized that when you master a skill, there are people who want to learn that skill. And if you can get them from A to B, then you can truly change their lives. And I didn't fully understand it. Bryson had already been to a few masterminds and learned about it a little. And so when we started seeing success with Airbnb, he would always tell me, you're so intelligent. You have so much to say. You're beautiful. Like, go online and share it. And I was so shy. I did not want to make content. It was so awkward to me sitting and talking in front of a camera. When Bryson truly showed me that you can take your knowledge and package it in a way for people to understand. And this knowledge that I've created and this skill set that I've created has gotten me from A to B or A to C or A to Z, whatever, wherever it's gotten you. I used to be somewhere that I wasn't as satisfied with. And I've gotten myself closer to the person that I want to become. And I built more of what I want. And if I was able to create that for myself, being able to help someone else follow that same path and get there as well is very invaluable. And Bryson was the one who first started, sharing about digital products just to his close friends and posting it. And people were buying it. I was shocked. We had a $50 course on the first day. From a $50 course, we made $800, which just goes to show there are people who want to learn. We evolved. We grew a better offer. How can we package this in the best way? How can we make this information as straightforward as possible and truly teach people the exact skills that we learned to get here? And then more and more we evolved and we started offering services and finding ways to do it for them and help them get closer and closer and closer to success. Just because someone buys your information does not mean that they're going to implement it. And that's the hardest part, is like, I can be your coach, but I cannot make you do it. And so if you don't have enough grit or if you don't have enough discipline to do it on your own, there is nothing that I can do, even if I teach you. And so more and more we've been adding these services and trying to build the best possible offer, I guess you'd say, or best possible solution for our students to get them as close to their goal as they can be. I think the confidence came from watching us. We spent days and hours, all night right before the launch working on this course. We dropped the course that same 24 hours. That $50 course made $800. And it was like, people do want to learn.
You scaled to multiple price points, $3,500, $5K, $10K, $20K. How do you justify these higher prices to customers?
As we started growing in our company and offering upsells or having new offers, basically we started with our $1,497 program. And that was our course, community, and coaching, right? And then we noticed everyone doesn't actually implement. We had a lot of students that still needed help with other things. We had students asking for help with acquisition. Really, at the beginning, our biggest thing that we saw our students struggling with was getting their first yes, and that's because we were new to starting. We hadn't seen as many students go through the full process or get to the end. And so one of the hardest things when first starting is reaching out to landlords. And so we'd have a lot of students saying, do you know anyone who does acquisition? Can you guys help us get our first yes? Can you help us make our pitch video? And everything like that. So we then added a second offer for $3,500, which included everything that the first offer added, plus a unit that was sourced for them. So basically our team would do the work of reaching out to the landlord and helping them sign their first lease to actually get their first property. Then once students started getting their properties, they were realizing that they still needed other help beyond that. For example, design, setup, listing. We can have all of the materials and all of the coaching in there, but everyone sadly doesn't watch all the course videos, and everyone definitely doesn't implement them or chooses to just go their own route and not always listen to the advice that we give. And so then we started offering different things, like we'd do their design, we'd help with their setup, we started even partnering with our students, we started managing, and so our prices continued to increase as our services increased and as we did more for them and their businesses. Now we have made all of our education free. Literally everything that we teach about Airbnb is free. Our course, community, and daily live coaching calls are all free at this moment, and the only thing that we charge for now is we have one service-based offer called our turnkey program, where we basically do everything from beginning to end. We help our students get funded, we help them with their unit acquisition, we negotiate their lease and help them sign their first lease, we create a pitch video for them, we do their design, we coordinate their setup, we list their property, all for only $4,997. So we've evolved so much, but also with the time that we spend in this business getting better and better and better and doing it ourselves. As we've been coaching, we didn't just stop doing short-term rentals on our own. We continued to scale our own portfolio. And so with that, we were able to build these teams and learn even more as hosts. We are lucky enough to be able to have all of our education for free and one service-based product where we basically do the entire thing for our students.
What's the most important element of your sales process that actually gets people to buy high-ticket courses?
I think offering value, free value, whether that's through your content, through a free class, a webinar, I think that's so important. You want to already have given your audience value and you want them to trust you. You want them to feel confident in your solution. And so doing that often, I think, is really important. I think also for us, having a sales team has been huge. You know, we used to pitch and close our offer at the end of our free classes. We don't even do that anymore. We now just have a book a call link where they go through a process with our sales team and see, are they a qualified applicant? Are they going to be a good fit for the program? Does it make sense for them to join? And then if it does, our sales team onboards them into the program. And so I think for us, our sales team has been huge. I think having some sort of front end free value is huge. Again, content, a webinar, etc. And then if needed, I think having a lower ticket offer that they can first buy and see all the value that you give and then upgrade is important. But for us now, all of our education is free and that's an immense amount of value. So with that, they already see, we do what we say we do. We're good at it. Here's everything that we have to offer. And then if you want us to do it for you, we will.
How do you decide what to include in your courses versus what to save for higher tier offers?
To be honest, we don't really hold back in our training materials or our courses. We put everything in there because again, I can keep saying this over and over, but you can give your students everything and some people will implement it and amazing, but there are going to be people who don't. And so it doesn't matter what you put in there. The people who maybe they're just too busy, maybe they don't have time in their schedule, maybe for whatever reason, there's going to be people who don't implement it. So we really put all of the skills, the knowledge, the education in our course and coaching. And now that's even free. But our higher ticket programs are more service based. So that's doing the service for our customers. And then we give as much education and as much value as we can away in those courses and coaching materials.
You mentioned most people struggle with implementation. How do you design your programs to actually get results?
For me, because I know that people struggle with implementation, one thing that I like to do in my coaching materials is try to make it as simple as possible. I don't like too much fluff. I don't like unnecessary stuff. I like to make it step by step. This is what you do. Once you do the first thing, you do the next thing and the next thing. And once you follow all of them, you'll get to your end goal. For me, just having it be a very fluid step-by-step process, I feel like makes it a lot easier for our students. And then on top of that, there's only so much responsibility that you can take as a coach. Again, no matter what you do, there are going to be people who do not implement, and that's something that you can't control. And so we've tried to implement different accountability things. For example, daily coaching calls. If you feel stuck, if you don't know what to do, join the coaching call and we will personally guide you. There's people who just don't show up. Again, that is not something that we can control. It's all up to them. That's why we have our service-based materials to do it for the students who want to get to that end goal. And for the students who know, if doing it on their own, they probably won't get there. Now you have an opportunity to allow us to do it to help you get there instead. So long story short, we design our programs to have service-based things that will actually get them to that end goal. And then in the education, we give away everything. That way, the people who want to do it themselves, they have the full blueprint beginning to end, step by step. And the people who know they're not fully gonna follow through, they have another route. Let us do it for you and we'll get you there. We've been doing the short-term rental business for 4 years now. And so we've learned a lot. We still have a lot of room to grow and we are growing every day, but we definitely can at least get someone from A to B or A to C. And that is extremely valuable.
What's your process for creating course content from idea to launch?
My process for creating course content from idea to launch, I think would start with having that idea. What is my skill? What can I offer to others that is valuable, that will help them either solve a problem or solve something that they've been wanting to be solved, right? Once you have that, then it's like, okay, now you do have to plan out how am I going to structure this? And again, for me, I like to make it as simple, as step by step as possible. So I start from the very beginning. What did I do first? Or what do they need to do first to actually start? And then following that, what's the very next thing that they need to do and the very next thing? And I'll start by just making like big subheadings or subtopics or whatever. And then I'll break those down even more as in-depth as I can until it's a full course with all of the knowledge that I can put into it. So once you have all of the information and you know what you're going to present, it's now up to the delivery method. And so you have to decide, am I going to do, pre-recorded trainings? Am I going to have this in a PDF? Am I going to make a presentation? Am I going to make an ebook? There are so many different ways to actually present the information that you have. And so you just have to decide what that looks like on your end. Once you create it, then it's just about marketing it, letting people know I have a solution that can help you get from here to here. Here's the solution. If you want it, it's here for you. If not, maybe I'm just not for you. And so that's pretty much the process that I follow.
What's the biggest mistake you see other course creators make with their content?
I think a lot of course creators struggle with, and I'm far from perfect, I have a lot of room to grow as a content creator, but I do think that a lot of content creators, number one, struggle with quality, and number two, they also struggle with messaging. They struggle with knowing who their audience is and having a specific solution that addresses their audience's problem. And so number one, knowing who your audience is so important. And then number two, what is your audience actively looking for? Like, what is the solution that they're actively seeking? Being able to pair that, having good quality content where you can be captivating and make people listen to you is so important. Being able to speak and share your message and feeling confident in it. I feel like you can't be afraid of what you have to offer. You just have to put it out there and whoever's going to agree with it or resonate with it does. And then again, again, understanding your audience and being able to show them that you do have the solution to their problem. I think a lot of people are also scared to give away free value. They want to gatekeep everything and keep it all to themselves. I'm personally not really someone who's ever scared of competition. I know that I'm going to work as hard as I need to build a success that I want for myself, and I'm not afraid of having a competitor or someone who's doing it with me, because at the end of the day, it's me against me. And I think a lot of people are scared to share something because they don't want other people to catch on, or they don't want to give too much away. Sadly, not that many people are actually going to implement. Just give it away. The people that do, they're going to do it amazing. But I think the content that did best was the step-by-step stuff. So the stuff where I was literally giving, this is a step-by-step on how to do this, and showing them. When someone can see what to do and not be confused, I think it really helps them want to take action and realize that it is achievable for them. Showing people that I was able to start short-term rentals at 19, no college degree, no wealthy parents, no real estate connections, no real estate license. I didn't have a background in this field. I didn't own any properties. I was 19 and I started by renting, and then showing people, here's exactly how I did it, or here's exactly how I found a profitable property. Being able to share those things and show people, I think, made them believe in themselves a little bit more, which is all anyone ever really needs. And then, they would like, comment, they would save it, they would come back for more, just to keep watching and learning about the business, because now that they can envision this solution working for them, they're more likely to continue learning about it. And so I think that's what worked best for me.
You use both organic social media and paid advertising. How do you balance these two approaches?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was all organic, and then I learned that, the smart way to go about business is normally to get ads as well. And so I did start running ads. I think for me, I create organic content, and then what I see resonates with my audience most and what performs best, I then take that and run it as an ad. And so whatever performs best, normally every time I'm filming, I film 2 call to actions at the end if there is a call to action. And I always add click the link below just in case I make it an ad. Then I have an ending for an ad because there will be a link below. But really, I just use whatever performs best organically. It normally also performs very well as an ad. And I do film separate ads. I don't love them as much. They don't feel as genuine to me. So for me, my organic content, my real stuff that I just put out there, I like to take the best of it and run it as an ad. And then it performs pretty well. So I see pretty good return on ad spend from that.
How do you handle the fake guru accusations that come with selling hard-ticket digital products?
Being a course creator, consultant, or coach can be difficult at times. You're going to get a lot of hate. You're also going to get a lot of love and a lot of people that find you extremely inspiring. You'll be able to change so many people's lives. But with that, you will get people who disagree. You will get people who don't understand it, and people who do hate in your comments. And it can be hard, but one thing I had to learn very early on in this business, in putting myself out there on social media and making myself vulnerable to people's opinions, you can't do something for other people's validation. It has to be for you and you only. So if I'm doing this business because it's what I believe in and I believe I can help people, then that has to be enough for me. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter what they comment or what they think. I can't tell you how many times I get, if you were actually a millionaire, you wouldn't make YouTube videos. That's so far from the truth. Or if you were doing well in short-term rentals, you wouldn't want to make more competition. There are 50 states just in the US. There are endless cities. I don't care about someone else becoming an Airbnb host, because me personally, I'm always going to look at my competition and make sure that I'm equal or better than my competition. That's just me. And so I'm not worried about creating more competition. I think that there's huge markets and so much more room for so many more hosts to see success. I don't mind if I can help someone else get from A to B, and in that same process of helping someone, also build another stream of income for me and my family and have the ability to help more and more people. I'm gonna do it. And so I just feel so strongly in knowing that I have the best intention. I have the best heart. I truly want the very best for my students. And you just cannot listen to people's opinions, because if you do, it will get really hard. And so for anyone who wants to be a coach, consultant, or course creator, normally that does come with marketing. Even if you're not the face, someone's going to be the face. There are going to be people who love you. There are going to be people who hate you, even if they don't know you. And they don't even really hate you. They just put hate comments. It is what it is. You just have to let it go by. If they're taking the time out of their day to comment something under your post, that is truly a reflection of who they are and not a reflection of who you are. I would never sit there and comment crazy things under people's posts. And that's just me personally. And I think where your energy goes and what you focus on is literally what becomes in your life. And so for the people that are just constantly commenting negative things under people's posts, it's probably a reflection of where you are today. And for the people who are constantly uplifting people and seeing the best in people and, being optimistic and being able to see that someone else can do something and then in turn realize if it's possible for them, it's possible for me, you're probably going to see that in your life as well. And so put out what you want to give back. As someone who is online or creating courses or teaching people, you just cannot focus on the negativity. Do good, do right by people, try your very best, and that is enough. Keep showing up, keep improving, and be open and honest and tell, your audience, I'm not perfect, but this has got me from here to here, and that's what I can teach you. And as I learn more and as I get better, I'm going to try to give that back to you. And that's all that you really can do. Just be very genuine, very transparent, and try your best. And I think that's enough. Just do it for you and do it for the people you help. Don't worry about anyone who says anything else, because they're actually just haters. And so I think a lot of people get upset when you've seen success, you're almost like showing them what could have been possible for them. And I think that does upset people. And it still is possible for them, but probably not if they don't change their mindset. And so they first have to work on themselves. So whatever they're commenting to you, it's a reflection of them, not you. Trust me.
How did you go from doing everything yourself to building a team for your digital product business?
We had to start building a team early on, and then more and more as it just quickly grew. When I say we grew really quick, in the first 6 months, we literally skyrocketed. We started adding a lot of team members. For me, I just tried to pick people that were very skilled in what they were skilled in and put them in that field. And also, I'm so lucky to have such a big family that is very talented and intelligent. And so a lot of my family works with me now. My brothers are, my program specialists, and they're on my sales team. And another one of my brothers is on my leasing team, and my sister works with me in design. And I'm so lucky to just have so many family members that can help and are skilled at different things. My other sister and my brother-in-law, they work in our setup teams. And so having my mom on account management and having my stepdad in project management, just everyone is able to contribute and really help. And that's been so huge for us. And then also we do have tons of team members that aren't family, but they feel like family because we've all been working in this and we have this vision all together that we're working on. But I just love people who go above and beyond, people who work hard, and people who can see a vision and genuinely work at it, because that's how I am.
You evolved from pure info products to service-based offers. Why make that transition?
We made that transition because I truly think we can create more impact in our students' lives by having service-based products, because I think it allows more of them to get to the end goal. And so that's why we implemented that. It was a hard transition. It definitely wasn't easy. And I do think even our profit margins went down, but to me, it's worth it because our student success is going up and it's getting better and better and better as we get better. And so it's super worth it. This was just part 1 of these questions. I'm going to do a part 2 for you guys. If you have any questions that you want me to answer, comment below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.